Thank you very much. So we're going to continue on the Atlanta theme here because our next speaker is also based here in Atlanta. Graphic Packaging International is solving the challenge of managing its website, its intranet, and its business processes by using SharePoint, running on Rackspace on-metal servers as part of the Rackspace Managed Cloud. Here's a quick video on GPI.
Graphic Packaging International is one of the largest folding carton manufacturers in the beverage and consumer products division. We are about 40% of the average grocery cart. We range from frozen products to microwave products from your grocery store. We do most of the craft beer packaging and large commercial beer packaging in the United States and in Europe, and a lot of the soft drink market. We're about 15,000 employees globally and about 4,500 to 5,000 information workers are primarily my core users that are leveraging our existing SharePoint platform. And my team is actually made up of about 4 employees. So you can see the kind of vast nature of what I have to support and manage on a day-to-day basis. I needed partners that would be in there to help us provide support, provide technical direction, architecture. We talked to about 3 or 4 other companies, and through this entire process, Rackspace really brought back the right expertise, the right kind of collaboration, because being a 4-person shop, I needed a partner that was going to be an extension of my employees. By going to the Rackspace Managed Cloud environment, we were able to really provide a hyper-flexible model. The beauty of it is, by logging into my Rackspace portal, I can go and quickly request another virtual server be spun up into my environment in less than 3 days. The best thing that's brought to the table is a 4-person department has been able to manage a global enterprise, and being a partner with Rackspace has allowed me to move away from the technical side of deploying and supporting that large environment to being more business interface focused so that we can take care of the core problems of our business. With the managed services from Rackspace, I feel like I'm not doing it alone like an unmanaged service, but I have a partnership where my 4 people actually turn into 4,000.
So please welcome the IT manager of Graphic Packaging International, Seth Roach. Seth, join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good afternoon. I'm Seth Roach, the IT Web Systems Manager for Graphic Packaging. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Rackspace has done for Graphic Packaging International. So a little bit about GPI first. As you saw in my video, we are a very large folding carton manufacturer. You go home tonight, open up a couple of boxes, you'll find our logo. We like to say we're in about 40% of your grocery cart, but you know, we're not really super known from our technology platform, but we're very known from all the different products you have inside your household. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the problems that I have to solve as the IT Web Systems Manager for Graphic Packaging. We need to allow this very large global enterprise to collaborate. And we don't have a really large technology budget to allow us to do that. So we had to figure out the best ways to kind of get these things done. We do a lot of business process automation, a lot of form processes. We have a public website that's hosted on SharePoint, and we do a lot of custom .NET development inside of my group. So the real challenge is, how does a company that really has a very small IT group really manage a global enterprise, 15,000 people, 5,000 information workers? It's very difficult, and it was a huge challenge to try to figure out how we're going to do that without growing our footprint of employees to, 20, 30 people. So my team is myself. I'm a recovering SharePoint consultant. I have 2 .NET developers that are in the crowd, hopefully cheering me on tonight or this afternoon. I have 1 business analyst that's holding down the fort for me today, and 2 interns that we train and then lose. Great program, but still very difficult for me to manage to. So how do I deal with that? I have to find the right kind of partner to come to the table. And really, I need a managed partner. I don't need an unmanaged partner. A joke about the slide, we have a problem. They forgot to insert my problem here, so I'm going to tell you about it. The problem at hand is I have an existing, or my previous environment is an existing SharePoint 2007 environment that supports these 5,000 plus information workers. And it's an internal system, has one web front end, one app box, and a SQL box, all 32-bit for the nerds in the crowd. Your average laptop has more computing power than my SharePoint environment as it adds today. It's been up for over 8 years, which is a testament, but I've had to turn a lot of stuff off in order to keep it running. You know, speed, reliability, capacity. It's a very, very difficult situation. And, you know, I love being the IT manager that knows about the technology I support, but it's really not the best place for me to spend my time. I can't tell you how many times I've rebuilt an index search, people search. It's been a big pain. So what do I need? I need expertise that can come to the table not only to host and help me manage this environment, but understands how SharePoint works. And if any of you in the crowd have been SharePoint consultants or have worked on SharePoint platforms, you know it's a very complex platform. It's not something you go next, 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 finish. So I need flexibility. I need a real agile environment, and I want the real players to come to the table to get stuff done. And I am a tech company's worst nightmare, okay? You don't want to come to me and say, oh yeah, I can do that, because I'm going to challenge you because I've probably done it before. So you know, how did I end up with Rackspace? I'll tell you a little bit of a story before I go to the next slide. So I started with Graphic over 4 years ago, and when I got there, there was a beta of a cloud deployment with Rackspace that my predecessor set up. And I get into this box and I take a look at it, and you know, health analyzer's red, there's a bunch of stuff, they're using a single service account. I'm a least privileged guy, nerds in the crowd will get it. And it was appalling. I didn't think it was something of quality that would be able to carry my company forward. So I wasn't real impressed with Rackspace when I first met them. But then I met this guy. I actually already kind of knew about him. If most of you in the crowd have worked SharePoint for a long time, this is Jeff DeVerter. I think he's now like the chief technology officer over all Microsoft great things at Rackspace. But he's a great guy, and he's known in the community because he sticks to his word and gets things taken care of. So, you know, we talked to a bunch of different companies to try to find the right kind of partner, because once again, the company's not going to let me expand my payroll to have a gazillion employees, right? So I flew out to San Antonio, out to Rackspace, and I sat back with them and said, you're going to have to convince me you know what you're doing. And they brought all the A players to the table. And we sat and we whiteboarded, and I'm sure they didn't like me much that day, but we got through it. And what we ended up with is this really super flexible environment based upon on-metal private cloud deployment. And it really helps us be flexible, agile in our continuing growing business. And it really gets us to a position that I don't have to worry about things in the future and taking a very long period of time to get deployed or set up. So I kind of talked about that already, right? Why Rackspace? They do have the expertise at the table, because if they didn't, I'd fire them. I'd get rid of them, because I don't have time for it. I got 4 people, and I work 14 hours a day. I need people that can come in here and really get things executed, and they really bring that expertise to the table. I'm telling you the truth here. They're very strategic. They help align with us from a global infrastructure perspective, global managed services perspective. And even though I'm on metal, we're talking about hybrid solutions where I can rapidly spin up hybrids of not just on private cloud scenarios, but also hybrids into shared or multi-tenant clouds inside their environment. You know, what Rackspace is bringing to the table for us is this hyper-flexible model that allows us to do things quickly, right? One of the big complaints that a lot of corporations have is it just takes too long to get these things taken care of. Why can't tomorrow, right? How many of you guys had an executive walk in and say, why aren't we in the cloud? Let's get it done today. Let's move. The cloud's simpler. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than just saying, oh, let's just go to the cloud. But with partnering with Rackspace, having this managed service here, it really, really, really helps extend and speed up the process of getting things done inside my organization. And the number one thing is, I truthfully, honestly feel like I have a team of 4,000 employees as a result. Is there bumps in the road? Of course, but they respond. The number one issue you've got to remember when you're going looking for these companies to help you get and solve your enterprise problems is, are they really there? Are they really present? Or are you just another click on a screen of a website? I have an account team that is here. They better be here, because I'll be yelling at them if not, to really take care of what we have to do. And if there's process inside of Rackspace, you still have to go through certain things, but they're there. And if I shoot an email to them, they're an extension of my employee base. They're getting things taken care of. I speak too quickly. I'll do some fun stuff at the end. I'm not as cool. I'm not going to hand out sunglasses or Post-it notes, because you can go buy a beer tonight and open up the carton. It'll probably be mine. So thank you very much. All right, so what are the lessons learned? Whether you're an ex-SharePoint consultant or you're operating with inside your business to find really the value proposition, over-communicate. Be very specific on your goals and objectives. Go with your gut. If you're a technical professional, something doesn't feel right, it's probably not the right fit with that company. Like I said, I've talked to quite a few of them. Understand your business problem. This is one I preach at the office a lot. People like to come and bring solutions to my table before we really talk about the core business problem. And just understand the business problem you're trying to solve before you go out there and try to find technology to get it done with. And the last part is, the part that I keep on harping about, is once again, I feel like Rackspace is an extension of my employee base. And that's the real difference maker. That's what makes it happen for me. If I didn't have that, then I wouldn't be in business with Rackspace. We wouldn't be paying them money every month. So that is roughly about it for me. If there's any questions, because I have like 5 minutes left, there's a really cool thing. If you Google DragonCon 2012, Comb the Desert, you'll find my brother and I with a giant pick and big helmets. Just kind of a cool thing. But any kind of questions from the crowd, since I've ran through my deck way faster? Bueller, anyone? All right, Voodoo. Oh, we've got one in the front row.
So, yeah, as a SharePoint user, I'm assuming, that kind of Microsoft or kind of Azure. Did you look at Azure as an option versus?
Absolutely, but it's not managed, right? So we do some things in Azure, but on a very small development basis. It's a great utility, but you've got to find that managed service provider. You can go down the street tomorrow to any one of these little mom and pop companies, and they'll sell you SharePoint, they'll sell you Exchange in the cloud, but do they really provide the managed service? Are they an extension of your team? And that's a huge part of what these, all technical professionals are being faced with the fact we're being turned into a commodity, right? The IT departments are becoming very small. Total IT people in my company, my almost $5 billion company, is 60, okay? That's small. We're about 1.7% of total spend of revenue for my company. It's small. Only way I can get it done, I got a partner, I got Rackspace. And when they don't do it right, I smack them, they get it done. That's the way I love it. So, any other questions? All right, back in middle row. I originally pitched an organization chart that had at least 10 people in it. And that's based upon all my consulting days going into a decentralized SharePoint management model. SharePoint is a great tool, But if you throw it out into the wild and you don't have a governance plan, you don't have a good information architecture plan, which, by the way, Rackspace knows about, they're doing professional services for me right now, it's going to get screwed up. It's going to be bad. Yes? Yeah, we'll see. Microsoft's changed their mind a couple of times, right? So let's just be honest here for a second. I love the Microsoft stack. I'm an ex-Exchange architect. I've been working with SharePoint since 2000. The strategy is going to evolve, but you're still going to need managed services. If you go to Microsoft right now in SharePoint in the cloud, they don't provide you any real managed services. So, these are going to be evolutions that companies like Rackspace and others are going to turn around to help a company like me manage to, because the business isn't going to stop asking me to automate 50,000 things. They're going to say, just go get it done. And I've got to find the right mix of partnership to get it done with. So it's important to find the right kind of partner. Any other questions?
Back here.
All right.
Hey, Seth, it's Veronica.
Hey, Veronica.
Guys, I don't have a mic, but I did want to add something to that. So today, Microsoft announced that we are partnering for exploring how we can thematically support the online Microsoft offerings. So, so I think that here over the next few from our customers, we're going to interact with
Yeah, absolutely, and I've gotten a little bit of preview of that. It's going to be hybrid environments as we move on here. It's just the way the evolution's going to go, but we're still going to have to provide that strategic business solutioning and getting these things taken care of, whether it's multi-tenant cloud, whether it's quasi-tenant cloud, or whether it's private cloud. It's a good way to go. I won't get into the executive conversation around cloud stuff again, but we're there. We're doing it, and it's very useful. And to be honest, if I didn't have Rackspace doing it, it would be all on-prem, and I would have to go out and hire those extra employees to help me get it done. Cool deal?
I was going to ask, where does the demarcation lie? I mean, you say Rackspace is an extension of your team.
Yep.
By that extension, do they also have access to your SharePoint data?
So they do, because they provide managed services, and if you work in SharePoint, in order to provide managed services, they have to be farm admins, right? So they have it, but we have very extensive contracts. Legal's been through everything. And we have really good auditing and tools to make sure that information, and to me, it's safer than going into the multi-tenant stuff, in my opinion. That's the reason why we took the step into the private before we went, kind of hybrid and shared. I know we're looking at doing our extranet for our partners and our customers on Office 365 in combination with this. All right, I'm getting the buzzer. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you, sir.